All right, produced by Bob Crew on WSGN's playlist the week of September 30th, 1966. I Got You Under My Skin by the Four Seasons. I thought this was one of the best records the Four Seasons ever put out. It's a standard. It goes back to the 30s, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Frank Sinatra had a big hit with this earlier on back in the 50s, although he released it in 1963. Frank Sinatra had a big band version of this song that was arranged, a swinging big band version of this song that was arranged by Nelson Riddle. The song I Got You Under My Skin was written by Cole Porter back in 1936. The song made its first appearance. It was in a movie called Born to Dance. It starred James Stewart rather, and Eleanor Powell. She was a tap dancer, and this was a musical. The Born to Dance was an MGM musical, one of the musicals they put out back in the 30s, and a woman named Virginia Bruce sang "I Got You Under My Skin." She first introduced the record in this movie, Born to Dance. But now this kills me, and this is where the research takes you take you down different roads. Um, Virginia Bruce, the woman who sang "I Got You Under My Skin" in the movie Born to Dance, she was married for a couple of years to a guy named John Gilbert. Now, you probably don't remember John Gilbert. I'll tell you who John Gilbert was. He was a famous silent screen actor back in the 20s. At one time, John Gilbert was a huge sex symbol, had an affair with Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo. He was in a couple of movies with Greta Garbo. And one of those movies was called A Woman of Affair. Another one was Flesh and the Devil with Greta Garbo. And supposedly he was going to marry Greta Garbo, but she stood him up at the wedding. But don't quote me on that. Bottom line is this guy rivaled Rudolph Valentino back in the 20s, but John Gilbert fell fast in the early 30s, and a couple of reasons. He clashed with the head of MGM, Louis Mayer. He clashed with him over creative and financial things, and also the introduction of sound, because he was a silent screen actor. And the love scenes, when it was done on sound that he was doing, was just too cheesy for the audience. They would burst out laughing when he would say, "I love you, I love you, I love you." And his film career it fell apart. John Gilbert did. He just fell apart with the introduction of sound. He died in 1937. He was very young. I don't remember his age. I read a fantastic biography of John Gilbert about 20 years ago, and that's why I remember some of this stuff. I'd forgotten about Virginia Bruce, who was married to him for a couple of years before he died. But there it is. Didn't think I was going to talk about John Gilbert doing WSGN's countdown, but that's research for you. Here it is, "I Got You Under My Skin" by the Four Seasons, produced by Bob Crew.